No. Ja, kan praat hören också. Jag har också en invandrardialekt som min kära vän har. Eller han har en ortendialekt och jag har en Afrikadialekt. När vi ser varandra i stan säger Annars. Sen säger jag själv och det räcker för oss. Men jag ska spela min invandrarrekord och jag ska tala på engelska. Om det är okej för er.
Yeah. Erich, speak a bit closer.
Okay,
Yeah, like
keep
this.
it closer. Guys, my name is Erich Hugo, and I've been a friend of Edvard for 25 years. And I'm going to tell a couple of stories that only he remembers. Maybe Martina remembers some of them. My wife definitely remembers them. But we became friends because our beautiful daughters became best friends at school, and we walked in. There were these one-year-old girls sitting, and they refused to sit on separate chairs. They sat on the same chair, and they would laugh the whole time. And we thought it was very cute. And then one day, I went to pick up Clara, and as you can tell, I'm a nerd. Right? I'm an OG nerd. Right? This slick guy with a hairstyle walked in, you know, and he's like had a leather jacket, and he said, and I was like, goodness gracious, this immigrant's going to beat me up. You know? But he didn't, you know? But we hit it off immediately, and there's going to be a theme, and I'm going to come to the theme at the end of the speech. And we actually became, I would say, you're my top 3 friends in the world in my life. I mean, I've known you of half your life. We disagree on a lot. We really disagree on a lot, but there's a bond of love that I think is there. And then Martina and Edvard invited us over, and I was thinking, this guy's pretty cool because he's driving a taxi, he's studying, and he's got 3 children. I mean, and he's my age, well, a little bit younger than I am, and like Ivana said, all those balls in the air, I mean, but there was a bigger ball in the air, because we came to visit them the first time, and we saw Edvard would lean over, and Clara and Ivana would be playing around the table and eating. And Edvard could not stop cleaning my daughter's face, you know. And then I realized this guy's got a bit of OCD, you know. and then I was like getting scared because I thought he's going to start cleaning my face, you know. And he was like, and every time I would put my glass down in their house, Edvard would walk behind me and pick our glass up, you know. But that's Edvard. And it's beautiful and it's funny as hell. And then I got very sick in 2011, and I'm not going to go into that, but it was quite serious. And then one day my lungs collapsed, and we also had 2 small kids, and Karen was not available, and I had to get to the hospital. And the first person that I phoned to help me was Edvard, and he picked me up. He took off from work. He picked me up. And he drove me to, it was Danderyd, and I was bleeding out of my mouth and all that stuff, and me being a Western immigrant, I mean, I'm from South Africa, you know, it's like, no, don't make a noise or anything like that. Edvard walked to the front of the counter and told him, it was, Jävla, han blöder från hans mun, ni tar in honom nu. And he did it, you know, and I was like, okay, don't make a scene, Edvard, please, you know. But this young man, you studied data wetenskap, and I pulled him into the telecoms world. I gave him his first job at Nokia, and it was the best decision I've ever made. You know? And he came in and he had cut the bob. You know, he didn't have the bob hairstyle anymore. And then a bit later, all the success that you've had, Edvard, I mean, what an inspiration you've been to everybody around you. And sometimes I remember you and me sitting in Kista, and you're talking about you wanted to start your own company, and I was just thinking that, you know, sometimes a person just needs a cheerleader, and I think that I've been one of your best cheerleaders in my life, and I can honestly say that you've been one of my best cheerleaders as well. And here's the theme of this speech. There's one thing that any person in this room can do, is they can pick up a phone 2 o'clock in the morning and ask Edvard for help, and he will give it. And why? It's because he loves so much. He loves with his whole heart. If you're loved by Edvard, you feel it. Okay, and it's like getting up out of a warm bed and that blanket is around you. he's got your back with love. I mean, and you feel it, being his friend, being in his circle. He doesn't hide it. It's maybe us immigrants that notice it, but I really appreciate your love, man. And it's totally returned. And because you're such a master of love, Karen and I, my beautiful wife there, we were thinking, what can we give somebody that's a master of something, that really would show that he's actually better at something than other people, because you are better than most people don't love as much as you are. They don't. Seriously, they don't. So we decided to make you a Lord of Love. So I want you to open that and then read it to the people. And this is official. Okay, open it. Dare to open it. I wrapped it so you can't open it.
Highland titles, Lord of the Glen, Certificate of Rights, Lord Edward Hamra. Now this deed witness.
I'll read it.
My English is better. Now this deed witness as follows. Highland titles in consideration of all sums paid, due and paid hereby grants to this above named person the personal right to use the plot identified in this deed together with the permission to use our registered trademark as Lord of the Glen and Lord Edward Hamra in perpetuity.
Legenden!
Yeah, legend. So you are a lord now, officially. Correct. Om 2 weke voor Edward en Litten Ask van Skotland. Met hans plot, som han har i Skottland nu. Och din soner och din dotter berättade för mig att du är kanske på väg till Skottland. Sen har du rättigheter för att gå dit och stanna i en slott. Var du är en liten del ägare av nu. Och du är faktiskt nu, och din barn måste nu säga sir till dig.
Okej.
Tack så mycket.